Hey everybody, it's Mitch again. And as I continue to work on reorganizing my garage, we're going to work for a little bit today on this monstrosity. So this is a blueprint cabinet. There actually were 3 of these. I kept 2, sold 1, and they're just a big cabinet. It's really deep, it's really wide, and it comes with a base and a top, and you just kind of assemble them. And here's the last drawer that I have. I'll show you what it looked like. So basically, this is just a large flat drawer. It's got this canvas top and this little kind of thing here. And what that's meant to do is just keep everything flat. And so what I did is I purposed it to put small things in. Because I've got a lot of small parts and things like that. Parts, pieces of wood, etc. So let's go look at that. So here's a typical collection of things I have. So these are all mostly pin blanks. So I used to make a lot of pins a long time ago. I used to sell them and things like that. So I've got all these small parts, and this works fine except for a couple of issues here. The first is these drawers are really deep. They come all the way out to there, and there's still another, I don't know, foot or so back in the back that we could store stuff. This is a stop because if you pull the drawer out past this stop, it will fall out on top of you, which I have done. So what I did is part of that mechanism that keeps with the canvas, it keeps the blueprints flat. What I did is I cut that off and then I riveted it in place right at the little hinge junction that originally was there. So I did this on a few of the drawers. I still got to do a few more. But what I need to do is put more rivets in and to hopefully pull this up to keep it tight. Because the issue here is if you put too much weight in it, it will bow the drawer and it will have trouble getting out. They start clicking on each other. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a series of trays just out of plywood that I have and different other things I'm trying to recycle. And that's just to keep everything kind of lined up and where it doesn't move back, because as you move that, as you can see with the cylinders there, they all move, and sooner or later they just move out of the way and stuff. So I'm just going to make a series of small thin drawers, and just open, actually, yeah, I guess it'd be a drawer, and populate that. And hopefully kind of get a little bit more organized with this. I'm still working on what to do back here. I did a few experiments a few years ago. I hate to say that, but it was a few years ago, about having some kind of tray that I can put in here to pull out, but will go all the way back. Haven't really come up with a good solution to that, but that's a problem for another drawer. So what we're doing today is we're going to make a few drawers or trays just to fit all this stuff in. And like I said, I have a lot of stuff in here. So here's the big one. This is really heavy because there's so much different stuff in there. And it will basically click, because if you could see that, yeah. This is because basically it's bent because it's too heavy. You kind of have to shove it back into place, which you can't do from the side. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. I've got a lot to do on this. This is actually going to be a stand for a CNC that I want to get one day. I like the Shapeco stuff. So this is the reason I did this, is because the CNC takes up a lot of space, and this is just about the right size for that. And I want some kind of storage built in. So I found these. I'm like, this will work perfectly. So that's it. Right now it's just storing, stuff and things and trash and things I need to take care of. So that's what we're working on today. So here's some of the material we're going to be using for the bottom of our tray. This is snap together flooring, as you can see. What I'm going to do is glue 2 pieces together, then I'll cut off the edges, cut it to length. This should make 2 trays. Then I previously cut some 1/4 inch MDF, and this will be the sides. So I'll cut that to length. And then this is already sized for the drawer so that it doesn't stick up too high. So I'm going to be cutting these and glue them together. I think I have enough to make 1, 2, 3 more. So it'll be 4 total sets of this, and each will make 2, so that gives 8 trays, which should be enough to fill up at least one of those. I'm still working on how wide. This is about a foot wide, or 10 inches wide, I think, after I get through doing everything. So it kind of really depends what we end up with that. But this is how we're going to start. And then after this gets used up, I've got some 1/4 inch plywood or 5 mil plywood that I'll be using for the bottoms.
And all I'm doing here is just cutting off the tongue and the groove of each side of the panels I created so that they would be flat. So when I glue the sides on, then we'll have something nice to walk through. So just showing you that. So if you're wondering, at this point during the recording, I do not have an air compressor. I had a workbench that the air compressor was built into, and so I don't have the ability to use my pen nailer. So everything's being held together with glue and good wishes. Most of the pen blanks that I have are around 5.5 inches wide. So what you're seeing me do here is put in an extra rail so I can have additional storage so they won't run into each other. So where my left hand is where the main part is. And I made some spacers to keep everything filled in, and then that is just other storage, again, to keep it from kind of intermixing it to keep it clean. So here is the beginning of the process of me adding the extra rivets. So I pulled the drawer out, emptied it all out. As you can see, it's on top of my table saw since that's the biggest place I have. You see these vertical lines are vertical to the camera. Those are actually strength way that they made the trace or the drawer strong by putting these small indentations actually into the actual drawer itself. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use that as a guide. So I'm going to drill holes and put rivets in, and basically I'm going to drill them from one side and then flip it over and put the rivets in from the other side. So it looks like I've put a total of 6 rivets in the bottom that secures the 2 edges and the stuff in the middle. And this actually did work to strengthen it a bit more than I expected. So I think that's good. So that's pretty much all we're doing here. We'll put it back in the shop or into the case. Most of what you're going to see in this part of the clip is me not making up my mind or being unable to make up my mind about where I want everything. So you'll see me sit there and stare at things for a long time, and that's just the way I work. So if you look on top on the left hand side, or kind of in the center, you'll see I have extra trays ready to go. And now what you're seeing is me look for other parts to do. So here's one tray. There's some Fordite there, some strips, some other pin blanks. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, and this is a collection of very thin strips along with some other wood that I'd purchased years ago to make boxes and stuff with. So this is what I decided to do. So I basically made 4 more trays, and then I think it's 4 more trays, and then here I'm just kind of arranging things. And this is about as exciting as watching paint dry, but that's what I'm doing here. I've got basically most of the colored ones are things I bought from folks on Facebook within the pin groups and things like that. And the stuff in the box that I'm pulling things out of, that is actually cutoffs that I made. So every single small piece of wood that you see was a pin blank, and I'm so anal about, or OCD about, not throwing things away. This is literally 16 to an 1/8 inch thick pieces that I didn't want to basically turn into sawdust. So if the blank was too big, I just trimmed it off on the bandsaw, figuring I can use it somewhere later. And it's 20 years later, still got them. I'm got to do something with them because I don't need this many. And like I said, I've got, as you can see, a quarter of a box full of these things. So that's all I'm doing here is just trying to arrange things and make it look pretty and make it all fit and stuff like that. And that's it. So that is the end of the flooring material I have. I have some other plywood and things I can do, but that's all we're doing for right now. So let me finish working on this, and we'll wrap it up here at the end. So this is only about the third time I've hit that piece of wood and can't figure it out. So, I guess it got dropped on my head as a kid. So sooner or later I will put that piece you see, the tan and the dark pieces of wood on the left hand side. I'll actually put them laying face down, but I'll do it a couple more times. There we go. Okay, this is going to seem really weird here, but I'm about to do something that makes no sense. I've got these darker, thicker pieces of wood, and you're going to see me smell of one. And the reason I'm smelling of it is I've got two kinds of these. One is an ebony, and what you see, I've got a whole half a drawer of that. And ebony's dark and black and doesn't smell like anything or does much. The other piece, which was on the left-hand side there, all that brown you see on my left side, that's Madagascar rosewood, and it does have a distinct smell. So I was looking at these cut off to figure out, is this ebony or is this Madagascar rosewood? And I had pieces of both, and the Madagascar rosewood is dark, but not as dark as ebony is. So that's why I was smelling of it. So I just thought I would mention that. It's kind of funny. And yes, every time I open one of these drawers, it's just like Christmas. I have no idea what's in the drawer, and right now I'm just trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing, where I'm going next. Is everything the way I want it? And eventually I'll get to the point where I'll just stop looking at my wood and go about my day. But that's what I'm doing here. I'm just looking around, seeing what I got, seeing what I can help with. I need to make probably 2 or 3 more sets of these trays that I made. Because as you see, I keep pulling things out after I pull it forward, and you'll see it moves around. So that's the whole purpose of creating these trays, is so it doesn't roll around. So now I'm looking at my box, figuring out what the heck I want to do with it next, which is a problem for another day. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, and we'll catch you on the next one.